In 1968, a book called The Population Bomb made a frightening prediction. Its author warned that the world was heading toward disaster. Too many people, too little food, too few resources. Governments, economists, and scientists feared the same thing. Population growth seemed unstoppable. In 1950, the world had around 2.5 billion people. By the year 2000, that number had more than doubled. Cities expanded, countries industrialized, and humanity appeared to be moving toward an overcrowded future. For decades, the question was simple: how do we slow population growth? But today, something unexpected is happening. In some of the world's richest, safest, and most developed countries, governments are asking the exact opposite question. How do we encourage people to have children again? In South Korea, birth rates have fallen to historic lows. In Japan, thousands of schools have closed because there are not enough students. In Italy, entire villages are struggling to survive. And in China, a country that once limited births through the famous one-child policy, is now desperately trying to increase them. The world is not running out of people, but many countries are beginning to run out of children. And the consequences could reshape the 21st century. At first, the change was almost invisible. A few fewer births each year, a slightly older population, nothing dramatic, but demographics work slowly. And then suddenly, a classroom loses a few students, a school closes, a village loses a few families. A generation later, half the village is gone. What begins as a personal decision eventually becomes a national trend, and that trend is now visible across large parts of the developed world. So, how did we get here? The answer is far more complicated than many people imagine. For most of human history, having children was not simply a personal choice. Children often contributed to family businesses, family farms, family income, and family security. Large families were common. In many societies, they were expected. But modern life changed the equation. People moved to cities. Education became longer. Careers became more demanding. Housing became more expensive. And the age at which people married continued to rise. For many young adults today, life follows a completely different timeline. University, career, financial stability, relationships, marriage, then perhaps children, if they can afford it, if they have time, if they feel ready. And increasingly, many people do not. Not because they dislike children, not because they reject family life, but because the economic and social realities around them have changed. In many major cities, buying a home feels out of reach. Raising a child can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Childcare is expensive. Education is expensive. Housing is expensive. And uncertainty about the future remains high. For many young couples, the question is no longer, do we want children? The question has become, can we realistically afford them? This shift is especially visible in South Korea, one of the most technologically advanced nations on Earth. A country known for innovation, education, and economic success. Yet many young Koreans describe modern life as intensely competitive. Long working hours, high housing prices, rising living costs, and enormous pressure to succeed. The result is one of the lowest birth rates ever recorded in modern history. But South Korea is not alone. Across the sea, Japan is facing a similar challenge. And in some ways, Japan offers a glimpse into what the future may look like if current trends continue. Japan may be one of the clearest examples of what demographic decline looks like in practice. Across the country, thousands of schools have closed. Some villages have lost so many residents that abandoned homes now outnumber occupied ones. In certain rural areas, the average age continues to rise year after year. The change is gradual, almost invisible at first, but over time it transforms entire communities. And this is why governments around the world are paying close attention. Because when a country has fewer children, the effects extend far beyond families. Fewer children eventually means fewer workers. Fewer workers means slower economic growth. Healthcare systems face greater pressure. Pension systems become harder to sustain, and entire industries begin struggling to find enough employees. This is not a problem expected decades in the future. In many countries, it is already happening today. China provides another fascinating example. For decades, the country worried about population growth. The famous one-child policy became one of the most ambitious social experiments in modern history. At the time, leaders feared that rapid population growth could limit economic development. But history has a way of surprising us. Today, China faces a completely different challenge. Birth rates continue to fall despite the end of the policy. Families are now encouraged to have more children, but many young adults remain hesitant. The reasons sound familiar: housing costs, education expenses, career pressures, and uncertainty about the future. The same story is unfolding across parts of Europe: Italy, Spain, Germany, and many others. Different cultures, different languages, different histories, yet remarkably similar trends. So, what are governments doing about it? The answer is quite a lot. South Korea has invested billions of dollars into programs designed to encourage family formation. Japan has expanded child care support and financial assistance. European countries have introduced tax incentives, parental leave programs, housing subsidies, and direct payments to families. Some governments offer generous benefits for new parents. Others provide free child care or financial support for larger families. Yet, despite these efforts, the results have often been limited. Because demographics are influenced by more than economics, they are shaped by culture, by expectations, by lifestyle choices, and by how people see their future. A government can lower costs, but it cannot easily create certainty. And certainty may be the most valuable thing young families need. This raises an important question. Is demographic decline an inevitable crisis, or simply another chapter in human history? The answer may be more complicated than either side admits. Human civilization has never remained static. Throughout history, societies have faced challenges that once seemed impossible to overcome. Wars, famines, pandemics, economic collapses, mass migrations, entire civilizations have risen, adapted, and transformed. The Black Death devastated Europe, yet populations recovered. World wars reshaped continents, yet societies rebuilt. Pandemics changed economies and cultures, yet humanity moved forward. Every generation believes its challenges are unique, and in many ways they are. But history also teaches another lesson. Human beings are remarkably adaptable. When circumstances change, societies change with them. New technologies emerge. New policies emerge. New social norms emerge. And eventually, new solutions emerge as well. No one knows exactly how the demographic story of the 21st century will end. Perhaps birth rates will recover. Perhaps societies will adapt to smaller populations. Or perhaps entirely new models of work, family, and community will emerge. But one thing is certain: the future is not written yet. The story is still unfolding, and the decisions being made by millions of ordinary people today may shape the world of tomorrow more than any political speech or government policy. Some places disappear from maps, others change without anyone noticing, and perhaps one of the greatest transformations happening today is invisible from space. It is happening inside homes, inside families, and inside the choices people make every single day. Subscribe to Behind the Map for more hidden places, forgotten histories, and surprising stories shaping our world. There is always another mystery waiting beyond the map.